Imagine trading your relentless Monday morning forecasting meetings, the unpredictable corporate reorganizations, and that constant stealing on your earning potential for a business model that practically sells peace of mind to homeowners.
Right.
I mean, for a lot of professionals looking to transition out of the corporate world, the goal isn't just to buy a job where you're working 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, absolutely not.
the goal is to find a vehicle that taps directly into a booming, resilient industry, one that generates highly predictable recurring revenue and actually operates like a scalable enterprise. So today, our mission is to jump into a deep dive on a specific franchise model that does exactly that in the home services sector.
Yeah, and we were talking about MosquitoNix.
Exactly. We're going to look under the hood at their unit economics, their multi-revenue streams, and most importantly, the underlying support structures that make it work. The goal here is to help you evaluate if this kind of operational playbook is the right vehicle for your own wealth creation journey.
And to really set the stage for you, we have to understand the specific mindset of a highly successful franchise buyer today. The smartest investors out there, whether they're looking to be semi-absentee owners or corporate escapees, they are all searching for the exact same holy trinity.
Low overhead, proven longevity, and scalable systems.
Exactly. And MosquitoNix is a fascinating case study for this because it operates in the massive, somewhat fragmented home service sector, but it comes with over 20 years of operational history.
Which is huge.
It is. 2 decades is a lifetime in franchising. It means they have survived economic downturns, they've adapted to shifts in consumer behavior, and they've had the time to completely iron out the kinks in their unit economics.
Well, I want to start by looking at the actual product. Because, you don't survive 2 decades if your core offering is just some passing fad.
Yeah.
But I need to understand the mechanism here. When we talk about an outdoor insect misting system, my mind immediately goes to, like, a technician walking around a backyard once a month with a heavy backpack sprayer.
Because that's the traditional pest control model, right? How is this fundamentally different?
Oh, it is entirely different. And that distinction is really the foundation of their whole business model. What MosquitoNix has built is a custom-designed, permanently installed, and fully automated piece of hardware on the homeowner's property.
Okay.
It provides continuous protection rather than just a one-time chemical blast that, wears off after a week or two.
So to put an analogy to it, it's basically like a smart home security system, but for flying pests.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
Instead of motion sensors for intruders, it's a perimeter of discrete nozzles hidden in the landscaping and along the fence lines. And it releases this fine mist for, say, 30 seconds at dawn and dusk, because those are the exact times mosquitoes are most active. You've got it. You are effectively building an invisible moat around the property. And what elevates this from just a physical installation to a highly efficient recurring revenue engine is the smart technology driving it.
Right.
These systems connect directly to the homeowner's Wi-Fi network, and they're actually integrated with real-time weather data.
Oh, wait, really? So if a massive thunderstorm is rolling in, the system knows not to spray?
Exactly. I mean, if it rains, spraying would be a complete waste of the botanical solution. So the system automatically delays the misting cycle until the weather clears up.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, and from an operational standpoint, this means the franchise isn't dealing with angry customers complaining that their expensive treatment just washed away. Plus, it optimizes the usage of the refill materials. You get zero wasted product.
Well, let's talk about that botanical solution for a second, because I look at modern consumer trends, and people are incredibly sensitive about what is being sprayed around their children, their pets, and their organic vegetable gardens.
Oh, absolutely.
So is the botanical aspect actually an effective deterrent, or is it mostly just a marketing angle?
No, it is highly effective.
Yeah.
And the underlying science is really what makes it work. They utilize a 100% botanical solution derived from clean, fully biodegradable sources.
Okay, like what?
Well, it primarily utilizes compounds found in certain plants, like chrysanthemums, that have natural insect-repelling properties. It fundamentally disrupts the biological receptors of flying pests.
Right.
But because it is plant-derived, it is completely safe for mammals, meaning people and pets, as well as the broader environment.
I mean, I see the appeal there. If I'm an investor looking at customer acquisition costs, offering a solution that is Tough on bugs, but completely safe for the family dog, removes a massive barrier to entry. It totally de-risks the purchase for the homeowner.
It does way more than de-risk it. It entirely shifts how the consumer views the service. When you combine an eco-friendly solution that actually works with a 100% satisfaction 30-day money-back guarantee, you change the psychology of the buyer.
How so?
It transitions the service, in their mind, from a nice-to-have seasonal luxury into an essential protective utility for their home. And from a unit economics perspective, once that system is installed, it requires ongoing botanical refills and regular maintenance to function.
Which creates that sticky, recurring revenue.
Exactly.
The homeowner isn't making a new purchasing decision every single month. They are just keeping their utility running.
Yeah.
But that actually leads us directly to the natural friction point of this model.
It's seasonality.
Yeah. The summer recurring revenue sounds fantastic, but mosquitoes die or go dormant in the winter. If I am investing over $100,000 into a franchise, I am looking at my annual profit and loss statement.
Right, of course.
I can't just take a massive hit to my cash flow for 4 months out of the year. So how does the franchisor plug that seasonal cash flow hole?
Well, it's the defining challenge of the home services industry, right? Many independent operators simply accept the loss, shrink their operations down, and just hope to survive until spring.
Which sounds incredibly stressful.
It is. But a mature franchisor engineers a solution to diversify the revenue streams. MosquitoNix addresses this first by layering their summer offerings. They have QuickNix fogging treatments for one-off events like weddings.
Oh.
And they have PestNix for broader household pest control, which increases the lifetime value of a single customer. But to address the winter hibernation directly, they implement a massive seasonal pivot.
Okay, what is it?
Holiday lighting and decor. They actually market it playfully as help from the MosquitoNix elves.
Okay, I have to push back on that a bit. Hanging Christmas lights on a roof feels like a massive operational leap from installing discrete misting nozzles in a garden.
I get that.
Are we assuming that a technician who is trained to mix botanical pest solutions is automatically qualified to scale 2-story icy roofs and manage high-voltage lighting? What about the jump in liability? That sounds like running two completely different businesses.
That is a very valid operational concern. And honestly, it's exactly the kind of question a sophisticated buyer should ask. But the reality is that the underlying assets and logistics of the two services are remarkably similar.
Really? How so?
You are utilizing the same branded vehicles, the exact same routing software, the same ladders and safety equipment, and the same customer service protocols.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, and yes, there are specific, rigorous training modules the franchisor provides for the safe installation of holiday lighting. So the franchisee isn't just winging it out there, but the base infrastructure is identical.
So you are basically cross-selling to your existing customer base. You already have the homeowner's trust from protecting their yard all summer. So when November rolls around, you just offer to handle their holiday lights.
Exactly.
That must drop the customer acquisition cost for the winter business down to almost zero.
It absolutely plummets the acquisition cost. But the real genius here, like the true aha moment of this seasonal pivot, isn't just the winter cash flow.
What is it then?
It is employee retention. If you look at the P&L of a typical seasonal business, the hidden killer is the cost of turnover. You spend all spring and summer recruiting, hiring, and training a great team of reliable technicians.
Right.
If you don't have a winter offering, you have to lay them all off in November.
And then in March, you are starting from zero again. You are posting job ads, doing interviews, and retraining a whole new batch of people who are inevitably going to make rookie mistakes on your customers' properties.
Exactly. It is a massive drain on your resources, your capital, and your operational quality. By implementing the holiday lighting program, MosquitoNix allows the franchisee to retain their top-tier employees year-round.
That's huge.
It really is. You are offering stable 12-month employment to your best technicians. That means when spring rolls back around, your veteran crew is ready to hit the ground running. The quality of your installation and service remains consistently high.
That makes a lot of sense. You are optimizing the workforce you already have. But this brings us to the day-to-day reality of the owner. Let's say you are a corporate professional transitioning to ownership.
Okay.
You want to build an enterprise. Having a year-round product suite is great, but as the franchisee, am I expected to be out there in a polo shirt, knocking on doors in a neighborhood, trying to sell misting systems in July?
God, no. If that were the case, this model wouldn't appeal to the demographic we're talking about at all.
Right.
Corporate escapees and semi-absentee investors absolutely do not want to buy themselves a grueling door-to-door sales job. They want to be the CEO of their territory. They want to manage managers and drive high-level strategy.
So how does the model support that?
This is where we see the absolute differentiator of the MosquitoNix franchise model. They operate with a highly efficient, centralized national sales team and a dedicated customer acquisition center.
I want to really unpack how that mechanism works.
Yeah.
Because in the franchise space, everyone talks about support, but it often just means a marketing brochure and a pat on the back.
Oh, for sure.
So what does a centralized sales team actually do for the unit economics of a local franchisee?
Think about it as a complete separation of the growth engine from the fulfillment engine. In a typical small business, the owner is doing everything. They are on a ladder doing an installation, and their cell phone rings with a new lead.
Yeah, which is a nightmare.
Right. They either miss the call and lose the business, or they stop working to give a rushed sales pitch. MosquitoNix completely removes that bottleneck. When a potential customer searches for a solution and calls the brand or fills out a form for a free estimate online, that lead is routed directly to corporate's centralized, highly trained sales center.
Wait, so corporate is fielding the inbound leads, educating the consumer on the smart technology and the botanical solution, and essentially closing the deal.
Precisely. Or they set a highly qualified appointment for the franchisee. They handle the heavy lifting of the inbound sales funnel. This fundamentally changes the day-to-day dynamic of the local owner.
Because you aren't playing phone tag all day.
Exactly. The franchisee can focus entirely on operational excellence. You manage the technicians, ensure the routing for the misting refills is perfectly optimized, maintain vehicle fleets, and deliver 5-star customer service.
Right.
You are running the logistics of the business while the corporate engine continuously feeds your pipeline.
Okay, I see the vision of the operational playbook. But as an investor, I have to look at the hard friction points of the financials. The initial investment to open a franchise here is highly accessible. It sits between roughly $120,000 and $155,000.
Yep, that's correct.
With requirements of a $150,000 net worth and $50,000 in liquid cash. That's a very strategic low-barrier entry point compared to, say, building out a brick-and-mortar restaurant.
Oh, without a doubt.
But let's talk about the ongoing fees. The royalty fee ranges from 7%, 10%, plus a standard 2% advertising fee. 10% is on the higher end of the franchise spectrum. So as an analytical buyer, I have to ask, how does a franchisor justify taking up to a dime out of every dollar the franchise makes?
It is a critical question, and it all comes back to the math of that centralized sales center we just discussed. If you were to try and replicate that level of sales infrastructure on your own as an independent operator, what would it cost?
A lot.
Right. You would have to hire a dedicated, full-time local sales manager. You would have to pay them a base salary, plus commissions, plus benefits, plus software licenses for a sophisticated CRM.
Yeah, that adds up incredibly fast.
That local overhead alone would easily eclipse 10% of your gross revenue in your early years of operation. And it still wouldn't guarantee the conversion rates of a seasoned national team.
So you are essentially outsourcing your entire sales department for a variable cost tied to your revenue, rather than a massive fixed overhead cost that bleeds you dry in the winter.
Exactly. When you pay that royalty, you are funding a massive customer acquisition engine. You are paying for the exclusive rights to the smart technology, the proprietary botanical formulations, and 20 years of brand equity.
Right, which lets you actually scale.
Yes. It allows a semi-absentee owner to scale horizontally. Because the initial capital requirement is only around $150,000, a well-capitalized investor doesn't just buy one territory, they buy 3 or 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they layer in a strong local general manager to run the daily fulfillment while relying on the corporate sales center to drive the volume across all their territories simultaneously.
That is the definition of scaling an enterprise rather than just buying a job. You use the franchisor's systems to do the heavy lifting, and you deploy your capital to capture as much market share as possible.
That's the playbook.
Well, we have covered a tremendous amount of ground today, and I want to quickly synthesize this deep dive for you as you evaluate your own next steps. MosquitoNix is presenting a model with 2 decades of operational history in a highly fragmented home services sector.
Yep.
They have engineered a system of sticky, recurring summer revenue through automated smart technology and botanical refills. They solved the classic seasonal cash flow problem with an elegant pivot into holiday lighting, which drastically reduces employee turnover and customer acquisition costs.
Right.
And they underpin all of this with a low overhead structure, where a centralized corporate sales team drives the growth, allowing the owner to focus entirely on scaling their operations and managing their territory.
And as you leave today and continue your research, I would encourage you to consider the broader macro trends driving consumer behavior right now. The modern homeowner's investment in their outdoor living spaces is just skyrocketing.
Oh, for sure.
Families are pouring tens of thousands of dollars into outdoor kitchens, luxury patios, and custom landscaping. But those expensive spaces are entirely useless if the family is being chased inside by flying pests. So ask yourself, could a recurring, service-based Model 1 that fundamentally protects those outdoor investments and makes them usable year-round be the exact recession-resistant cornerstone you need to build a larger wealth creation portfolio? It is a question well worth exploring.